Recently, I made a video called How Kipo Did What Steven Universe and No Other Cartoon Ever Did Before, and there was a lot of debate in the comments, so I just wanted to take the time to really explain my position and why you're all wrong. Now, I've been doing this for about 2 years, but I'm the kind of man that makes a lot of mistakes, so it seems like I may not have explained what I meant very well. So in this video, I'm going to break down how Kipo did what Avatar: The Last Airbender and no other cartoon ever could before. So, the point of the previous video was as follows. There is a rule in children's television and comics that you can't really have your heroes kill people, even if they're the bad guy. There are exceptions to this, of course, but when the villain is a human or of a species related to the main character, generally one of three things happen. First, the villain ends up causing his own downfall, accidentally getting himself killed in his attempt to do evil. Second, the villain is redeemed before there is a major conflict. Or third, the hero has to find some alternate way to defeat the bad guy without actually hurting or killing him. Kipo brilliantly deconstructed this idea by having her follow a similar path and theme that many other heroes have followed in recent TV and movies for children. Kipo is in a world that is inherently violent and has to teach people to win through the power of compassion as opposed to that violence. She does not want to fight Scarlemagne, let alone kill him, but by the end of Season 2, her arc concludes with her realizing that you can't just wait for everyone to turn good, that sometimes you have to take a direct plan of action to take out your enemy to protect the ones you love or the innocent masses. Of course, she didn't end up killing Scarlemagne, but the point of her arc was that doing whatever is necessary is okay, that it doesn't ruin her role as a good person or a hero to take down the villain. This is in stark contrast to Steven Universe, which is sort of the peak example of heroes being unwilling to kill villains, with Cartoon Network even urging Rebecca Sugar to have him kill off Spinel in the movie. This doesn't happen, of course, and while Steven ultimately did end up shattering Jasper, this was less about subverting his morality and instead showing a loss of control, one he was even able to fix. So, since Kipo did not actually kill Scarlemagne, a lot of you in the comments took it to mean that other shows like Avatar are perfect examples of this deconstruction, because Aang ended up having to fight Ozai, Katara had to fight Azula, but neither ended up killing their opponent, instead getting them imprisoned. While the outcome was the same, the point of these interactions were entirely different, so Avatar is not an example of this deconstruction. You see, Aang never took any issue with fighting literally anyone that crossed paths with him. His issue was entirely about whether or not it was okay for him personally to kill. In the end, he is faced with an issue of whether or not he could kill Ozai, as it may be the only way to subdue him and stop him from wiping out all of the other nations. Now, if he had been forced to kill Ozai to protect the others, this would have been a very serious and dark deconstruction that goes even further than Kipo's, but instead he is magically gifted the ability to take away Ozai's power at the very last minute. To summarize, Aang did not want to kill anyone because of his moral standpoint. In the end, he is given the magic power to stop the bad guy without killing him, meaning he never had to either change or go against his moral viewpoint. He was handed an answer that allowed him to remain entirely unchallenged. Kipo didn't kill Scarlemagne either, of course, but even just fighting him instead of winning him over was against her moral viewpoint. In the end, she realizes that she can't hold on to that without being responsible for the deaths and suffering of others, so it is up to her to take down Scarlemagne by any means necessary. While the show never let it take a serious enough turn for her to have to kill him, it was clear in that episode that through the themes in her arc that she would do it if it was necessary. She was not going to let others die just so she can insist that killing is wrong, even if it's against a bad person. Don't get me wrong now, Avatar is a great story, and even its ending has some thematic beauty. While the good guys never kill theme is often criticized in television, the intent behind his story was less about killing itself and more about standing by your own morals and trying to create a world where they can flourish. All of the previous avatars he talked to had to kill people in their own lifetimes, and this was not presented as something necessarily bad or something that ruined them, but a necessary thing to do even if they weren't happy about it. The show was smart enough to at least find a way to acknowledge that sometimes you really do have to kill the bad guy to save the good people, and instead used Aang to talk about the importance about standing by what you believe is right, even if other good people may disagree and may not entirely be wrong. His journey was about making sure you do right by your soul, not to bend to the will of others. Interestingly enough, the head writer of The Last Airbender, Aaron Ehasz, has mentioned that he originally intended for there to be a follow-up story that dealt with Aang having consequences from taking Ozai's power, that taking them into himself gave him Ozai's rage as well, which would be an amazing metaphor for the stress that comes with standing by your morals in the face of such dire consequences. Either way, I hope this video was something that helped you understand what I was going for a little better. I understand that the heroes had the same outcome in their stories, but that doesn't mean they were challenged in the same way, and that's what's important about a deconstruction. Aang wanted to do something that was compassionate, not kill his enemy. In the end, Kipo didn't have to kill her enemy either, but to her, simply not winning him over was against her morality. Now, I'm sure a lot of you still disagree with this, and I just want to remind you that what I'm saying is not that Avatar was bad or worse in some way, just that they had different thematic points, and Kipo's was something we hadn't really seen done before in cartoons. I'm sure that there will be a lot of rebuttals to this anyway, so go ahead and leave a comment down below telling me what you think about this, and I'll see you next time.